Good evening and welcome to this week's Education News Rundown on UNILAG TV. I am Nifi Akora. On Monday, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, finalized a list of exceptional candidates approved for admission under its special policy for underage students. 85 candidates, all below the minimum entry age of 16, were cleared following a multi-stage screening process. Over 41,000 students had applied for consideration, but only 599 met the 80% UTME performance threshold before the list was narrowed down to the final 85. JAMB spokesperson Dr. Fabian Benjamin said the decision aligned with global best practices for identifying and rewarding gifted learners. Declared candidates have since been notified to proceed with registration at their respective institutions. Also on Monday, the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TET Fund, reaffirmed that private universities would not be included in its intervention programs. Adeyemi Adepoju, a member of TET Fund's Board of Trustees, maintained that private institutions operate for profit and cannot access a public fund meant to strengthen government-owned schools. He compared their demands to private companies seeking government subsidies simply because they pay taxes. Adepoju also questioned the practicality of funding the fast-growing number of commercially oriented private universities across the country. On Tuesday, civic tech organization Budget released its State of States report, revealing that Nigerian states implemented only 66.9% of their 2025 education budgets. Out of a total 2.41 trillion naira budgeted, only 1.61 trillion naira was spent, leaving about 800 billion naira unaccounted for. While Edo, Delta, and Katsina performed above 80%, Budget said the national average remained too low to impact outcomes. Per capita education spending stood at just 6,981 naira, well below the 20,000 naira benchmark. Budget urged state governments to focus on measurable results, including literacy rates, infrastructure, and compliance with the UNESCO 26% funding benchmark. Still on Tuesday, the University of Lagos announced plans to honor Bayelsa State Governor Duoye Dire with a professorial chair in leadership studies, alongside the launch of a book titled Leadership Chronicles of Governor Duoye Dire. The event, scheduled for November 5th, aims to bridge academic theory with practical governance and institutionalize the study of leadership ethics through Dire's career as a case study. On Wednesday, the University of Lagos addressed student concerns over new figures appearing on the student payment portal. The management clarified that the changes did not represent a new fee hike, but rather a consolidation of existing charges into one unified payment system. The restructuring followed a directive from the Nigeria Education Loan Fund, NEL Fund, to standardize fee collections. UNILAG explained that the move prevents multiple off-portal charges at the faculty or departmental levels and ensures transparency for students applying for educational loans. While the university assured that no new fees were added, some students expressed concern over slight adjustments in specific items, such as the tertiary institution's social health insurance program. Still on Wednesday in Abuja, the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, and the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, formed a joint front to tackle the country's deepening education crisis. Both groups condemned the declining quality of public education and rising insecurity in student hostels. NANS President Olushola Ladoja and the NLC President Comrade Joe Ajaero agreed to jointly press the federal government to honor existing agreements with academic unions and raise education funding to 26% of the national budget, in line with UNESCO's recommendation. Thursday saw drama at the National Assembly, where JAMB officials staged a walkout during an investigative hearing by the House of Representatives Committee on Basic Education and Examination Bodies. The committee had summoned JAMB to review its 2023 and 2024 budget performance, but tensions rose after Registrar Professor Ishak Oloyede, absent for the third time, sent Director Mufatu Bello to represent him. Mr. Bello demanded that journalists leave the room, citing confidentiality concerns, but committee chairman Oboko Ofoji refused, insisting the session was public. The JAM team then abruptly walked out, prompting lawmakers to condemn the action as contempt of parliament. Although an arrest order was issued, the officials had already left the premises. Chairman Ofoji later resummoned Professor Oloyede to appear in person on Tuesday, November 4th, warning that failure to comply would trigger an arrest warrant under Sections 88 and 89 of the Constitution. Also on Thursday, the federal government released over 2.3 billion naira in outstanding arrears to university lecturers in a bid to prevent another strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities. Education Minister Dr. Tunji Alausa confirmed that the payment covered Batch 8 salary and promotion arrears, processed through the Accountant General's Office. The government also approved the full integration of the Earned Academic Allowance, EAA, into staff salaries beginning in 2026 to ensure regular payments and reduce industrial disputes. Dr. Alausa reiterated that the government would only commit to agreements that are realistic and sustainable, with the goal of maintaining stability across the tertiary education system. To wrap up the week, on Friday, the University of Lagos, through its Office of International Relations, Partnership and Prospects, announced a new opportunity for students under the Erasmus Plus KA 171 exchange program with the University of Zuchin in Poland. The exchange will begin on March 1st, 2026, and will allow selected students from departments such as economics, finance, law, mathematics, marine sciences, human kinetics, and European languages to study abroad for 1 semester. Applications are open until November 12th, and students are advised to review course requirements on the UNILAG website before applying. The initiative underscores UNILAG's commitment to fostering global academic exposure and building partnerships that prepare Nigerian students for success in an interconnected world. And that's the education news rundown for this week on UNILAG TV. Join us again next week for more updates on Nigeria's education landscape. I'm Akora Nifi. Thank you for watching.